Hey everyone, CityGirl here to welcome you to our Ascendance XR Fireside chat, Monetizing in the Metaverse. Tonight we'll embark on a thoughtful exploration of how virtual reality and Web3 are creating new avenues for artists and creators. Our goal is to provide you with the knowledge and insights that you need to thrive in the Metaverse, all while safeguarding your intellectual property. We'll touch on some critical topics during this conversation, such as balancing human creativity in AI tools, ethical considerations in AI use, maintaining brand integrity and authenticity while scaling, effective communication in digital communities, and building and sustaining communities in the metaverse. And of course, monetizing and business strategy. The metaverse is an ever-evolving landscape, and our panel of experts will share their experiences and insights to help you navigate it successfully. So let me introduce our panelists. Welcome Kip, VR, and Sadomorrahvr. Let's start with you, Kip. You're a well-respected world builder, avatar creator, and a community pillar. How long have you been in the metaverse and before you started actually creating and monetizing in the VR realm?
First and foremost, City, I'd like to thank you for having me here today. I've been in the metaverse roughly going on about 2 years now. And in this time, it's been an amazing journey. I started creating roughly about 7 months into being in the metaverse around June of last year.
Pretty amazing. And I've obviously, been involved in some of the worlds that you've created, including this stage that we're looking at right here. And you created this avatar that I'm wearing. So you have been doing quite a bit of work here in the metaverse to monetize. And you even have a Patreon right now where people can join and take advantage of being able to enjoy some of the builds that you've created.
True. That's true. True.
And you, Sato, you're an amazing digital artist creating comics and NFTs. How did you become part of the Web3 arena?
Web3 arena, basically just getting into crypto, blockchain, artificial intelligence, all that good stuff. And all that led me here to you beautiful people. And yep, that's what I do. I'm mostly known in Metaverse for making comic books. When I first got in here, maybe like a year ago, tried to figure out who I wanted to be in this new reality. And I just figured, why don't I just keep doing what I'm doing in the real world, in the virtual world.
It's amazing to see the crossover and to be able to flourish with it. So let's jump right in, and we're going to do a kind of a volley format tonight where we're going to go back and forth on the questions. And I'm going to start with you, Kip. So how do you think Web3 is transforming the creator economy?
It's kind of like a big change in how we as online creators do our jobs. We can own our own work. We make money in a lot of ways, and we also have better privacy. Now, it's also made it harder to stop us from sharing our content. We can just share all over them, but it can have, it's a little bit of complications here and there every now and then. However, it is opening up a lot of new opportunities for us as content creators. So it's an amazing new technology that's been evolving in the metaverse.
It's pretty intense how the things that you're creating, instead of, if you were in the real world creating this stuff, a small limited amount of people would be able to see it over time, and that would continue to grow. In here, you can have thousands of people seeing your work so quickly all over the world. Isn't that something that it's just overwhelming sometimes, the capabilities that we can have in here?
And you know what, City? It is amazing because the time that we spend in the metaverse, you're able to interact with people from all around the world. People that you normally, wouldn't even, interact with in your daily lives. It brings us all together in beautiful spaces in order to exchange and share ideas as well as our content.
I love it. I love it. So, Sato, over to you. How do you think creators can use XR technologies to enhance the content and audience engagement?
I was scrolling my Instagram feed just the other day, and I came across this video. It was a dance video. There's thousands of dance videos on Instagram. And this one caught my eye because it wasn't just somebody dancing, it was Obama dancing, you know, in like a Hawaiian shirt or something. Now, naturally, of course, it was AI. It wasn't actually Obama. But for that reason, the video kept me engaged. You know, if it was just a video of someone dancing, sure, I might have watched it for a couple seconds, got a little bored and, you know, scrolled up. But just the fact that that person utilized AI to enhance their video, it did keep me for like the duration of the video. So, yeah, I just see people... Oh, go ahead.
No.
Oh, yeah,
there's a lot of people. Mm.
A lot of them. I just saw Barbie dancing too in a video earlier today. So yeah, people are really using this stuff in creative ways, and it's just really beautiful. It's gotten to a point, honestly, where I can't even tell what's real anymore.
And that has some challenges too, because obviously there are a lot of people out there who are creating content with, the likeness of celebrities, sports figures, and everything. And it's very hard to tell the difference, you know, as to what is real and what is AI generated. And, you know, that has pluses and minuses with it also. But it's definitely showing the capability of what could be, and how that you could use it as a celebrity or as a public figure to project yourself out there even more without actually having to be in certain places.
Yes, that's the beautiful part of it.
So, Kip, how do you balance the originality that you have and the use of AI in your creative process? So there's a little bit of, you know, there's definitely some pull and push there. How do you balance that?
Well, I mean, you can think of AI as like it's like a helpful assistant, right? You can use it to get your ideas. You can do a little research with it. You know what I'm saying? It makes things a little bit easier, but you still need to be the one that's in charge of, the content, the center of your creativity. You know, it's like having a smart, but you're the boss of it. You know, so with using it, just make sure that your originality of your ideas stands out on top of what you used the for.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. You never want to get so immersed in using AI that your personality and your flair that you put into your work goes away. So, you know, even if you're getting the ideas from AI, you really want to go back to it and say, okay, let me shape this the way I want to shape it. They gave me some, a starting block, but now I need to take this mound of clay and mold it my way.
Exactly. Said it better myself.
Sado, how do you think that blockchain technology adds value to digital creators?
When I think of blockchain, I think of proof of ownership. And I think that's what we've been missing this whole time ever since the internet has gone mainstream. You know, we can all upload to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter /X all day. But, you know, there's still that underlying feeling that what if I don't actually own my content? What if when I'm uploading it to these platforms, the platforms kind of take a share of that? And that's what we want for the future of Web 3.0. We want ownership. Sorry, one second. And yeah, so I talk about this all the time. I talk about the people's economy. Some people call it the digital economy, but the people's economy, we really want to own who we are. You know, and that kind of might go back to what we were talking about earlier, how all these people using AI to impersonate celebrities and stuff. Now, you can't just worry about owning your content. You have to worry about owning your actual self, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think blockchain is a key proponent to that ownership quality.
I would imagine with the work that you do, like with NFTs especially, I mean, that's one of the places that people started to see it most in the forefront is because, you've got your piece of artwork. What's to say you can't just right click save as and have it just be an image that you're now sharing. But with an NFT, you actually have the back end of the blockchain with the digital encryption showing that your ownership of it. So, I mean, with your artwork, that must be one of the benefits of it, right?
Yeah, and I think the real reason why blockchain works is because we all have access to it. It's that community aspect. When you see, actually, I don't want to say this yet because it's the answer to another question you're going to ask me soon. So I'll save that for later.
All right. So, I will get back to that. So, Kip,
Yeah.
you're obviously creating all types of things out here between worlds and avatars and just, visual beauty for everyone. So what are your top tips for creators who are looking to break into the Web3 space that, maybe they're new to it?
That's a very good question. First, okay. I would say learn basics. There are lots of programs out here that can help you with digital creation. You have the game engines such as Unreal, you have Unity, you have Blender. Even with Photoshop, there are just so many. Marvelous Designer for if you want to create clothes and things of that nature. And so with navigating the space, you find a niche. That would be another thing. Find a niche. I noticed that when I would world hop, would look for these things that people would want to be in worlds, like these players, these video players up here, for example, being able to share your desktop and things of that nature. So you find these niches of what the space doesn't have, and then you create spaces with the things, and then also if you're gonna make something, make good content. Make it good. Has to be something that grabs your onlookers, your people who comes into your world, or that get your avatar, or that want to buy your you can try you can also try NFTs, explore selling your work in the NFT space. There are a lot of creators on the metaverse, such as Second Life Rich, that creates NFTs that could really go far. You could, it's just so when you could, join communities, as you world hop, you build communities and stuff, you meet people, and just keep learning. And out of all of that learning, you want to have patience, because it does take time, with any new thing that you jump into. You want to be patient, don't just, go, how we say, balls to the wall. You know what I'm saying? Try to
exactly.
Just do it all. You know what I'm saying? Just have a little bit of patience.
Oh, for sure. And you're right. I mean, you come in here and you have visions of grandeur and you want to do it all yesterday, and it's not going to happen that simple. You got to put the work in to get the rewards out. And I think that's a very good philosophy for everywhere. But one of the things that, when you were just talking about, checking out the different worlds and seeing what people want and all of that, it goes back to basic business fundamentals, supply and demand, what people want and, what they're asking for, and you putting it out there. And when you said, create good product, absolutely. Because, you can go out there and say, well, I can create that. And you throw something out there that's like, or it's, too heavy for the worlds, and it crashes it down, and then nobody's going to want it. So if you're going to create something that they want, create it at a high level so that they definitely want more of it. They tell their friends they want it too, whether it's, avatar creation, clothing, that, like some of the wearables that are in certain apps and stuff. And even in gaming, there is a lot of gaming NFTs and stuff that people create, that once people see that they can get that, even if, let's say it was a shooting game and they're going to have an NFT in there of a specific rifle that like everybody wants, but you can only get it if you hit this level. It's got to work smoothly. It's got to play nice in the environment in order for people to want it. Otherwise they're going to be like, I don't want that. Just crashes everything. So you're right. Absolutely. All right. So
Sato, everything just crashes.
Absolutely nobody likes that. Everybody wants everything to be fun and smooth and enjoyable.
Yes.
So let me jump back to you, Sato. So how do you think creators can identify and capitalize on their niche within the Web3 space, kind of bouncing off of what Kip mentioned, that this is what you should do? How do you think you can identify that?
Well, let me just say that we're all at the beginning. We all have the privilege to be here first. And there's new programs popping up every day, new platforms. So I would say that on one hand, everything ain't for everybody, but on the other hand, you got to try everything. You got to try everything, talk to everybody. Yeah, you need to be open and just find new resources. There's new ones popping up every day. It's hard to keep track, honestly. You made a good point, Kip, about being patient. I got to deal with that too. Learning all these new programs and how to do all this cool stuff. And yes, you really got to explore in order to, identify yourself or who you want to be in this new reality. And how do you capitalize on that? I see a lot of copy and paste. Maybe that's too harsh of a phrase to use, but I don't see too many people going off the beaten path when it comes to all this new technology. I see everybody doing dance videos. I see everybody using AI to enhance the backgrounds of their videos. Everybody's using a voice changer. I'm waiting to see someone who is just doing something so insanely different that, you just can't ignore it.
The wow factor. Looking
the
for
wow
that.
Factor. Yes. Like, wow, I never thought of that. I haven't seen that before. I love walking into a world where someone's created something and I can go, wow, I've yet to see that. This is the first time I'm ever seeing anything like this.
It's interesting too because within the metaverse, there's so many different platforms, social platforms, and there was a lot of us who were involved with alt space before that sunset and shut down. We have VR chat and we have Horizon Worlds and in spatial and there's several of these programs, and it's funny because each one of them brings different things to the table that creators are going in there and accentuating, but the people who came over from alt space, which had a lot of functionality for both enjoying worlds and also hosting events and all of that, we see bits and pieces of that in each one of these platforms, but none of them has all of it all in one. And it feels like, each update that comes through, whether it's in VR chat or spatial, each update brings a little bit more of that cross-platform between them. But we are seeing everything growing bigger and better. And I feel like a lot of the, even with this new MetaQuest coming out that has more augmented reality built in, I feel like the augmented reality piece is where a lot of it is going to wow people. And so I feel like the worlds that are going to be able to incorporate that in, if we can be here in the metaverse and doing something and, all of a sudden a portion of this is within our home, that's going to be a wow factor. So people who are kind of involved in that technology, I feel like right now, that's a niche that potentially, could differentiate you from the common.
Yes, I can't even imagine what we're about to see in the next coming years.
It's a great time to be involved. It really is. And like you said, we're at the beginning. We're the pioneers for this. VR has been around for a long time, but right now it is taking off over the last 3 to 4 years.
It's ever been.
Absolutely. New things are coming out every day. It's so interesting. Well, Kip, back to you. What are the best practices for community building in the metaverse? I know community is very important to a lot of us. So what are the best practices for really making sure that community stays together and it doesn't become too cutthroat?
Well, Vince, one thing that I saw over on alt space was that when it came to like parties and events and stuff, a lot of us in the community really stuck together, and then after alt space went away and we were, sailing through the metaverse from platform to platform, going over to Horizon and then spatial. Then a lot of us finally settled over here. A community meant well, it means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? To be able to bring all of our friends and people together to be able to share experiences and at different events and different chill spaces and things of that nature. So I would definitely say that first you would need to pick the right place for you. If you like, spatial and the Horizon World and VR chat, they have different, things to them that caters to different things that you like to do. So explore the platforms, find which one works for you, where you feel at home. And then after that, I would say join into the fun and get people involved in what you're doing. If you're hosting events and things of that nature, planning events, you want to get as many people involved as possible. However, in order to do that, you need to be involved in other people's events and spaces and things of that nature. Show your support, because everything will come full circle. Listen to feedback from people. If you're hosting events and things of that nature, get feedback from people. How did this event go? What are some things you think we can improve upon to make this a great experience for you? And work with others. If there are other people who are hosting similar events or events that you could tie your event into, or they could tie theirs into yours, do that. Then that way you're creating not only a community, but you're creating a network. You know what I'm saying? You're creating a strong network, and be open to change. Be open to change. Always. Because things will switch up. Just be ready for that. And
very true.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that's. I mean, there are a lot of. Don't get me wrong. There are. If MetaClean was here, I know that he'll like, well, Kip, there's a lot of other things that that you can add to that. But as a matter of fact, shout out to MetaClean Rupert.
MetaClean,
great guy. You know what I'm
great
saying?
Guy.
So when you come in, you wanna definitely build a community or be a part of a community at the same time extend your own.
Absolutely. Reciprocal support is so important. I mean, you talked a little bit about Altspace and how we were all a little community over there, and then we kind of were like left homeless and had to find our way. But over the past, couple months while we were navigating the metaverse, a lot of us have found our way back to our core. We've found our people, whether it's because we have like interests or it's because we just simply run into each other while we're in our travels. And we thrive off of, seeing each other happy, seeing each other succeed, seeing each other come out with new inventions. And there's a lot of different levels. And, we've talked many times, in the metaverse about how, you're a world builder. Not everyone's going to be a world builder. Some people are going to be world hoppers. If it wasn't for the world hoppers, the world builders wouldn't have a job. So, I mean, you need both parts. Everything is reciprocal. And yes, there are definitely people who can do multifaceted things within here. But without having the support of the community, they're not going to be successful. If you can build something amazing that nobody wants to buy it from you or be part of it with you, you're all by yourself with that. And, the other thing is when people do have events and, you show up. I know I host a show in here and people show up to my show when they host events. I go to their events. It's you show support for each other because there's support in numbers, but there's also growth in supporting each other. We go to each other's events and we learn from each other, whether it's the topic of conversation or something about how we threw the event. There might be technology in the world that somebody else didn't think about that they want to incorporate. So there's a lot of different ways that we grow by coming together. But at the end of the day, it's kind of nice to have that camaraderie, because when anybody who's in here will tell you that after you've had the headset and you've experienced the immersion in here, you no longer feel like you're looking at an avatar. You feel like you're talking to your friend. You feel like this is your VR family. It is. I mean, it's such an amazing feeling. Now, when you're on a computer and you're doing VR, you also bond with these people. But for those of us who are in headsets, you actually are talking to your friend just a few feet away, and you forget about the fact that it's animated avatar that you're looking at. It becomes so real and so common so fast in here. So I do agree with everything you said about community. So how do you think, Sado, that AI is reshaping the creative industry? And, what are the ethical considerations that we have to worry about with AI when we're doing different things that incorporate it into it?
Well, I make comics, if you didn't know.
Yes.
Yes. By the way, you can head over to Sadomorrahvr.com and read it for free. So a friend messaged me the other day, and he showed me a reel of, or an article of a guy who used AI, one of those image generators, to construct his own comic book, completely using the AI image generator. Don't remember which one he used. I clicked on the link, read the article, checked out the guy, looked at his artwork, and I gotta say, I was impressed. But at the same time, I was also a little offended, because when you read my comics, it's all me. It's almost as if I pulled a piece of my brain out and I just smeared it on a piece of paper. I don't use AI for anything. I mainly use it just to organize myself, my writing thoughts. But this is the future, and we spoke earlier. So I'd just like to retell this story, this example. Sure. It's the 1700s. You're a famous painter. Now there's this new invention called the camera. And you're worried it's going to take your job. Now people can actually capture life as it is. Fast forward, it's the 1900s. Now you're a famous photographer. Now there's this new invention called Photoshop, and you're worried it's going to take your job. Now you can make your pictures look however you want it to look. And now we're here at the dawn of AI. This is the future, and we gotta consider the dark side of it. It's going to take a lot of jobs. It's gonna affect a lot of people, for better or for worse. But it is the future, and we do need to learn and adapt. Did I answer your question?
You did, but I would like to counter that a little bit, because I agree that it's going to replace a lot of jobs, but I also think it's going to create a lot of jobs, because the people who learn this technology will be in demand. And we already see job offers going out from different places like Netflix and stuff, where people who are adept at AI are getting offered 200,000 to 300,000 walking in the door, for different things. And, if you're really good at prompt engineering, that is, where it's at right now for mastering AI. So I feel like, right now it seems like it's like, oh God, that, it's going to be unbalanced and everybody's going to drop off and, the robots are taking over the world. But I don't think that's the case at all. I think that the technology is going to take some of these commonplace jobs we have right now and just move them out. But there's going to be a whole new wave of jobs coming in that are far more interesting, and that will actually make you, AI, even though it's doing a lot of thinking for you, you still have to use your brain in order for it to come out the way you want it to come out. And I mentioned prompt engineering. It's a really cool thing to master that, so that you can get out of AI exactly what you want. You can ask AI, go to ChatGPT and say, give me blah, 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 and it shoots it out to you. But it's your responsibility to read through that and make sure it's right, make sure it's in the tone that you wanted, make sure that it's actually projecting what you wanted as a result. So there's still some work that needs to be done. And, the people who are adept at it are going to capitalize on the jobs, I think.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I think that's what a lot of people take for granted, is the prompting. Because in the beginning, when all this AI art started to pop up on our feeds, there's a lot of people in the comment section saying, this isn't art, oh, you didn't make this, you just typed in words into a computer. But I don't think people really understand how complicated these prompts can get and how accurate you need to be. Some people are actually even using, I feel like they're using programming language almost in some of these AI generative images. And it's something we need to shed a little more light on. We need to just make sure people are well informed just of the process, because we shouldn't take this for granted. We shouldn't just shake
Not
our
at
heads
all.
at it and just shame people for using it. There is actually some level of expertise needed to create all these beautiful works of art.
Absolutely. I agree with that completely. So Kip, a lot of us come into VR as, to play games. That's how we all start. We come in and we're like, oh, this game looks cool. I want to play this. You put the headset on, you think it's a game. But how can virtual reality be leveraged for more than just gaming? I mean, how can you actually, come in here and really capitalize on it?
Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. See, what, a lot of people who are not in the metaverse, they have no idea about the endless possibilities of VR. To step off of what Sato was discussing earlier with the painting back in the 1800s. Think about the cell phone back in the 80s when the cell phone came out. Think about how big it was, right? You lugging around this big suitcase, you know what I'm saying? And,
You look cool. You look cool. Look at that
you
guy.
just thought that you was at the height of this of the technological achievement, but over the years, it got smaller. It got the reception got clearer, and then out of nowhere, then you had pagers and two-way pagers, and then the phone got smaller again. Then it got a screen on it, to send pictures and stuff. Then there was this touch screen, and then now, it's you have this miniature computer in the palm of your hand. VR
Exactly.
is
Now it's on your
going
face.
the same way. Exactly. Now it's on your face. So just think about the next 10 to 15 years of where this headset is going to be, which eventually is going to get down to some contacts, you know what I'm saying, in time, but at the same
I'll always
time,
wear my glasses.
the possibilities are completely endless. I mean, you're able to do you'll be able to do learning and training, for a more immersive experience, of learning things. Healthcare, being able to perform complex operations miles away while you're immersed in VR looking at a patient. Architecture and real estate, being able to go into throwing on the headset inside of the realtor, and you were taking a virtual walkthrough, just like you would do on the computer, but you actually feel like you're in the home. Marketing,
immersed,
advertising, remote work. Just think about when virtual call centers rise. When when you would go into a call center, you got somebody over in the next cubicle to you're taking calls, but in the headset, you're there. With your hands out, touching screens, moving through billing systems, talking to your friend next door, but you're still in your living room. Schools, colleges, your kid is at school with all their friends, but in their living room, or you're in college at night school or something with a headset on when you got all of your friends around you, teachers in front of you. It's just the possibilities are endless. So I mean, it goes way beyond gaming, to many practical uses, for a lot of different industries. So it's more than just it's more than just gaming. It's virtual reality.
So all of the things that are being created in here, all of the different, whether it's worlds, NFTs, all of the digital assets, how can creators protect their intellectual property in a decentralized environment, Sato?
Oh, unfortunately, I'm still learning that part myself. I live in the shadow of many great people. And I think back to Walt Disney, how he had his character Oswald the Lucky Rabbit stolen from him. And then he went on to create Mickey Mouse, of course. But, losing that character, it really cemented in him the real, what's the word I want to use? The strong desire to have true ownership over your intellectual property. And I think that carried over to the Disney company itself. So maybe Kip can help me with this question about how you protect your intellectual property.
Ooh, okay. It's funny. when we was over on Altspace, a lot of people did not pay attention to the end user license agreement. So, when building a lot of these platforms, a lot of companies, some companies allow you to control your creative content, such as inside of VRChat's end user license agreement, you control your content. Within Horizons, you can, but within Altspace, couldn't. So now you can. There are some ways to where when it comes to monetization, you can trademark your brand name. Which is in the real world, you bring your brand in, you got trademark, you're good to go. Some of the content that you create in here, I do think that it can be copyrighted to a degree. So like certain ideas and things of that nature. But while the metaverse is still growing, one thing that we don't have in here yet are the regulators. You know what I'm saying? The performing rights organizations that, regulate licensing fees for music and, things of that nature. So as time goes along, we're going to see a lot of new emerging rules and laws for this space that's going to get created. So my advice is to get into the metaverse while it's young, brand while you can. So when all of these different laws and start taking and rules start taking off, you will already be a couple of steps ahead of the. Because right now there aren't that many governing laws in the metaverse right now, except for the end user license agreements that the platform creates. So read up on those, about your content, their content, what it can be used for, and navigate around that best way.
It kind of brings us to, a topic that we use in pretty much all areas of Web3, AI, crypto, NFTs, all of it. And we're always saying, do your own research. So, if you're going to put yourself out there and you're going to put your product out there and have it be available to people, do your research first and make sure you're protecting yourself. So the next two questions. Oh,
sorry. For some people that phrase can be a little scary. Do your own research. A lot of people don't know how to do research. A lot of people don't even know what to look for. And how many of us
Sometimes
actually read the user agreement? Yeah.
Yo, nobody reads it.
Nobody reads it. Nobody reads it. Too long, didn't read.
Everybody just says, I agree, and you go on.
Click. So it's a flawed system to begin with. We need to change that some way, somehow.
But probably if it wasn't 6 pages long of tiny print, people would read it more.
They don't want you to read it. They don't even want you to read it.
Of course.
They don't want you to know.
Of course. It's a catch-22. Well, our next two questions, since you guys collaborated on that last one, that actually works out perfect, because the next two I'd like to get both of your opinions on. So let's start with, how can creators maintain authenticity while scaling their brand in the metaverse?
So to maintain authenticity, for me, this is what I would do. I would just try to connect with as many people as possible. I try to, like you said, community is very important. It is extremely important. People need to know you. They need to know your brand. They need to have a connection with you. And that's how you maintain your authenticity. Blockchain kind of works the same way. It's just you're trading blockchain for actual people who know you and who are familiar with your work and who can vouch for you. What if someone deliberately copies me and you see it and you're like, hey, that looks a lot like Sado's work. That helps me. That's like, yeah. So that's how I would do it. That's how I'd approach it.
How about you, Kip?
Me being a world builder, so some builders I see they'll grab like some prefabs thing. Well, a prefab is a prefabrication. For those of you out there who don't know, it's like a something that's already been created, like on a model site or something. they'll take this model and they'll make changes to it to make it their own. But a lot of us, there are a lot of world builders out there that build from scratch. And they'll start from a cube, and then the next thing you know, it's a big old house somewhere, or something like that. But as far as the authenticity, every time I build, there is a certain signature that I put into the way that I build. Not just putting up my brand logo or something like that. There is a way that I build to where any world that you go into, you can look around and say, you know what? Oh, Kip built this world. Oh, this is a Kip build. You know what I'm saying? Kip built it. You know what I'm saying? So I try to maintain my authenticity about just by sticking to a certain type of design signature. So that's like with finding your niche. Finding your niche. Stick to it and build off of it. But still maintaining that originality of what made that you.
Mm-hmm.
If that goes to make any sense.
No, totally. I love that. I love that if you look at a Thomas Kincaid piece of art, you know that he made that. So you're putting your own signature on it with your style. So that's a great way to answer that.
I just want to say, like you said Kip built it. I'm sorry. But you said Kip built it. I just want to say that is so catchy. You need to keep that.
We need t-shirts that say Kip built it.
Kip built it. That is so catchy.
That's great. I love that. Especially for your avatars, we could advertise for you. Could say Kip
built it. Right.
That's great. So what do you think are the next steps for entrepreneurs looking to innovate in Web3 space?
We've never been here before. Like I said before, like we're at the beginning. So me personally, regular guy, I can't tell you what the next steps are because we've never been here. We're still learning, we're still creating, we're still experimenting, we're still discovering new stuff. We're really the blind leading the blind. Let's just lock our hands and figure it out together.
What I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And with anything that you do, I was talking to my sister a couple of weeks ago because she wanted to come into the metaverse, and she was like, "I don't know what I could do in there, Kip. I don't know what I could do." And I was like, "Listen, I think that anything that you do in the real world, you can find a way to either scale it in the metaverse or promote it."
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just like like marketing on the internet, or ads between videos and stuff. There's always a way. And like Sada was saying, like we're the blind leading the blind right now. You know what I'm saying? So if you have an idea for it, bring it in and see if it works. I mean, there's no harm in trying. We're so young right now. In this that there is so much time to grow. A lot of time to grow. So if you feel you want to bring your business into the metaverse, or even when you get into the metaverse and you're just world hopping and you see something like, hey, you know what? Hold up. I don't want to go back. I got to go back to your MetaClean. So I'm talking to MetaClean one day, right? And MetaClean tells me MetaClean is a VR guru of network creating over on Horizon. So this guy, he's telling me that I'm like, your name MetaClean. You get that from having some nice avatars. Your MetaClean. You know what I'm saying? He was like, it's like no. He's like, when I first came over here, I seen that people would have these events. And after the events, there'll be all of this literally digital trash just laying around. And so he developed a business in there for cleaning up after digital events, putting stuff back where it goes, resetting worlds and stuff.
Genius.
It's like, wow.
Didn't know.
Right?
Look.
That's really interesting.
A metaverse janitorial service? Are you serious?
Right. Well, that means you can do anything in here.
And it worked, yo. MetaClean, you the man, bro.
I love that. But to what you said about, if there's something that you do in the real world that you want to bring in here, you know, it doesn't have to be, we all know a world builder, Matty Boy, who builds worlds in here, and in the real world, he's a carpenter building buildings. And so he started out with just the passion for creating in general, and he ran with it. Now he's in the process of having digital immersion for his clients that he's building houses for, so they can come in, see what it's going to look like in a 3D model build, and then he updates it as he builds it, so they're watching the process as it goes. So there's an example of doing your real world in here. But it could be things you're just passionate about. I mean, I've hosted several different things in here, and some of them were game shows. I love game shows in the real world. I thought it would be so fun to do that in here. So I've, helped host some game shows. I love music. We do a music thing on Tuesday nights. I love learning about AI. And so I started hosting Crypto City so that I could teach other people about NFTs, Web3, and crypto and AI, so bring your passions in, try different things. Some of them might flourish and some of them might not, but if you don't try, you don't know. And, you might also find that you can do something better in here than you could do in the real world. So, this offers you so much more opportunity. The audience in here is so vast. At home, you want to try something, you can, you go into your boss at work and you say to your boss, I think we should start doing this. I think this would be cool. He's going to say yes or no. And if he says no, now you're pushed aside with that idea and you move on. When you're in here, you have an idea, you say, I think this would be really cool. You throw it out there, you make it happen, and you've got thousands of people. And, there might be half of them that don't like it, but the other half does. And you can enjoy what it is you wanted to do with all of these people. So I think there's just an amazing amount of opportunity in here for anybody who's interested. And one of the things I'm going to go back to that you mentioned at the beginning, Kip, is you come in here and you want to learn, ask. Find the people that are doing and ask them. There's a lot of builders, there's a lot of creators, there's a lot of digital art people. There are a lot of people in here doing things. Maybe some of them might not be as friendly as others. Some of them are doing their own thing and it's just like it's just a business for them. But there are most people in here are trying to enhance the experience and build for the community. So you go in and you say to them, hey, I'm trying to learn. I'm new in here. I see you build these worlds. I don't expect you to teach me everything that you know, but can you point me in the right direction? And you send them off with some guidance. You say, hey, first step. I know, Kip, you've done this before. There's this video on YouTube of this guy who builds a trophy. Go learn how to do it. Once you learn that, you've got some basics. Then you can expand from it, right?
Basics. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to thank both of you, Kip and Sado, for coming on. This has been very enlightening to hear your perception and your insights. And thank you to all of our audience that are joining us today. We hope that you will take away some information and get yourself started in Web3, but also some motivation and excitement to join a creative community that's, part of the revolution for the future. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Pleasure to be here.
And cut.